What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about do people prefer living in Norway over America? What? No, couldn't be. What? Everyone loves America. Come on. but joking aside, today I'm really curious to learn more about this question, and I found a Reddit discussion here that I wanted to look at where someone said, I've been back in the States for 2 days. I've been back in the US for 2 days, and I want to come back to Norway. I hate it here. Oh my God, hate it here. It was so peaceful in Norway, and everyone, except for the taxi drivers, were so nice. Now I'm back in the States, and there is just hate everywhere you look. Wow. That's a pretty strong statement. And there's a lot of other comments just like this about this topic that I want to look at now, where a lot of other people are talking about, their experience in the United States compared to in Norway and what they preferred. And this first person is like, they hate it in the United States. I think that's a little strong. But it really, really depends on where you visit in the United States and where you live. That makes a big impact on whether you have a good time or not. Now, obviously, if you're a Norwegian visiting America, no matter where you go, there's going to be some pretty big cultural differences. This person was saying one of the biggest differences in Norway is it's peaceful. Everyone is so nice. And there's hate in the United States. And that's definitely true. It's just kind of interesting hearing it spelled out like that. Because I guess as Americans, we kind of get used to that there is a lot of divisiveness here, a lot of controversy and a lot of hate for sure. But I like to think maybe that's a little overblown and there's some positive things as well in the US, but I'm biased. So let's take a look at what people have to say. I moved to Norway 5 years ago from another European country. I don't think I'll ever leave. Every time I return to Norway after a visit, a certain calmness returns too. Wow. That's really, really high praise for Norway, isn't it? They don't even want to leave Norway, and they describe Norway as having a calmness. I think that I would agree with that's got to be a pretty big difference between life in the United States and Norway. Just as a culture, I think Norwegians are more calm, certainly more respectful. America, yeah, just from that point of view of behavior. We're talking on average here. Average American behavior when you're in the community, interacting with people, can be, in America, unpredictable, a little chaotic, a lot of opinions. And in Norway, I've been hearing there's a calmness, which does sound rather nice, I have to say. My wife is foreign. She calls Norway dull and boring, but in a good way. Huh. Dull and boring, but in a good way. That's a funny way to put it, isn't it? Because, yeah, having a dull, boring place to live, that's a lot of people's dream. That'd be great. Not being bothered. Yeah, that could be great. Because it gives you a certain peace, a stability, a predictability in life. And, this is all kind of general assessment of Norway, because Norway has a lot of different places to live as well. Now, here in the United States, there's 50 different states, and sometimes they act like completely different countries and really, really different places to live. The U.S. is gigantic, and you can find some pretty terrible places to live or some nicer places to live. I think the small towns in America are all pretty, good for the most part, like a more of a sense of community and quietness. Norway is a lot smaller of a country. And when I think of Norway, I think the talk about some really isolated towns and communities, some very small communities. Um, and there's a lot of difference in even just the nature, right? Just I've heard that before, that in Norway you get a certain peace, stability, predictability, not just from the people, but not just from the Norwegian sort of customs and attitude, which does promote that, but from the Norwegian environment, even. You, as a Norwegian with decent financial know how, can easily go on a vacation once or twice a year for excitement and you don't have at home. Right, right, okay. They're saying that if you live in Norway, it can be a lot more quiet and calm or boring, quote unquote boring. And that's awesome because if you want something exciting, you can just go to a big city in Norway, or you can just go on vacation somewhere because you are in Europe. You can probably fly to another European country. Here in America, if as an American, if you want to escape the American culture, your options are a lot more limited. A lot of Americans never even leave the United States at all, their whole life. A lot of Americans don't have a passport. We're close to Canada and Mexico, but we're pretty far from a lot of from Europe. It's not like so easy for us to escape the American sort of culture, if that makes sense. What else do we have here? Do people prefer living in Norway or the United States? Let's see. We moved to Norway December 1st from the United States. The crazy thing is, we have yet to we have yet to see someone do something unsafe while driving. What? Really? They haven't had anyone do something dangerous while driving? Well, that is a huge difference between living in the United States and Norway. Drivers here are so bad. Like every day almost that I drive, there's at least somebody doing something dangerous or breaking some kind of rule or getting very close to you, tailgating or running a red light or something. That's just kind of normal. Well, that's actually kind of normal, no matter where you are. But they have yet to see someone do something unsafe while driving? It's been more than a month. No dangerous driving. No witnessing an accident or seeing wrecked cars. Wow. Now that's amazing. I wonder why Norwegians are such better drivers than Americans. It's like no matter where I've been in America, if I'm traveling anywhere, there's definitely eventually a crash or a wreck. Like you might not see it, but there's a traffic jam and everyone has to slow down, and you drive by eventually, and you're looking, and you're like, oh, there's a wreck. A couple of cars got destroyed and rammed into each other. That's so common, so common. It's I almost expect it. Like honestly, it's surreal how different it feels from Seattle. Okay, so they're from Seattle. Interesting. Um, wow. Oh, what's this? I did some math on this subject in a different post. It is 6 times higher risk of being killed in traffic in the United States. What? This isn't even an opinion. This is like observable data and fact. You're 6 times more likely to be killed driving in America. Oh my God. What? I wonder why that is. Does that have something to do with the American attitude? Like Americans are more impatient or less responsible or care less about other people? Maybe? And Norwegians, whatever it is, Norwegians are better drivers. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What else do we have here? Um, Posts like this make me appreciate stuff we often take for granted. Thank you, and you're welcome back to Norway. Right. I mean, I don't even know how much Norwegians think about this kind of thing. It's kind of similar here in America. It's probably worse in America because Americans are very bad at not paying attention to the rest of the world. Do Norwegians think about how great it is to live in Norway? Like, or is it just kind of normal to Norwegians? Or when Norwegians visit America for vacation or something, is that like a weird experience? That'd be interesting to hear about. What else? You are not alone. It's not Norway is a common phrase in our home. Basically, everywhere is not Norway now. It's not Norway? That's the phrase. Wherever you are in the world, it's not Norway. It's not Norway. Wow, maybe that's true. Norway definitely is a very special place. Like, from what I've heard about the culture, the customs, the people, like Janteloven, like being humble. Norwegians are humble, taught not to brag, um, and to while in contrast, Americans are just so opinionated and so willing to be like aggressive and controversial and start arguments. Like this is kind of this discussion is kind of making me analyze Americans a bit. Hmm. I miss the water. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, because in America, like, there's states that are on the coast, but the vast majority of the United States are on the inside where there's not really water. And from some of the YouTube videos I have seen, man, some of the videos I've seen about Norway, that is one of the things that has stuck out the most to me, is how much Norwegian towns and cities are built by water and on water and by mountains and fjords and forests, and it's incredible. That makes sense to me that, like, so far it's kind of undeniable in this discussion. Everyone is saying they prefer Norway over America. I'm curious if anyone's going to say anything different to that, but I get it. I enjoy the tacos, though. The tacos? The tacos in America or in Norway? Because America is very close to Mexico. We have a lot of good Mexican food. But I know Norway enjoys making tacos, so Norway gets a bad rep about food, which is after going for 2 weeks, I can confirm this is false. Except for the Mexican food. Ha! Maybe America does a better job at the Mexican food than Norway. But doesn't that make sense? Like, we have like a Mexican population here in America that makes Mexican food. And there's a lot of Mexican restaurants. Okay, America has one thing going for it over Norway. We might have better Mexican food. I'm just saying. Just give us that one thing. Just one thing. Please. Please. Every time I have to go back to visit family in the United States, I marvel at the anger, the tension, the hate, the bigotry, the stress that permeates everyone I see and interact with. Holy cow. Hearing these comments is kind of it's eye-opening, honestly. I think as Americans we kind of get used to this. We get used to this feeling of tension and controversy and hate. You see a lot of it on the internet as well, like American social media. Yeah, you see a lot of this there. That's definitely true. But this is so interesting how several Norwegians in this discussion have all said, when I go, I see anger, tension, hate, bigotry, stress. Wow. I mean, I can't imagine a country that doesn't have all that. Is Norway completely absent of all these things, or just does Norway just do a lot better job with that? Probably. Probably that's what it sounds like. What's up with all the hating? Oh, okay. So is this like what's up with all the hating on America? Okay, okay. This person's trying to like come at this from the other angle. Okay. What else do we have? No one knows how to keep stuff to themselves. I was always raised with if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. No. I mean, I think it's fine. Like, if people want to bash America or say negative things or critique America, that's fine. Like, whatever. I'm interested in reading about it, so it's fine. Um, I'm back for 2 days, and everyone in America is just so in your face. Wow. I was working today. I got a call from someone in Indiana. Mind you, I work for Amazon, uh, and help people who sell on there. I picked up the phone and I greet the person, and it's, oh, thank God I got an American. I hate when the Indians answer. Okay, so that's an example of like bigotry and hate. That is true. This is an interesting one because I have heard people say this in America, and Americans definitely have like a stereotype and a stigma against Indians for sure. That definitely does exist here. But also, a lot of Americans just have trouble understanding the Indian accent. If Indians are speaking English, sometimes Americans just can't understand very well. And it's probably because we don't bother to listen to other cultures and languages or other English accents around the world. That Americans have a tough time understanding other accents. So that's another reason why Americans complain about that. I've heard that before. Um, what else do we have here? Oh man, this is a long comment. Sounds like America could use a good dash of Janteloven, right? That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly. Man, talk about, man, Janteloven. Like, that means not bragging, like conforming, like not trying to stick out and say you're the best. That couldn't be more opposite to America. Wow. Yeah, that'd be so interesting to live in a country where everyone is like taught to be humble, to be empathetic, to care about each other, to not try to be like the loudest and the cockiest. Yeah, this is starting to make sense. This is starting to make sense. Um, Norway is not perfect, but I'm glad we are a progressive country. We're not the most racist, homophobic, transphobic. I think we have a pretty peaceful society compared to many other countries. That's what it's sounding like to me as well. Nowhere is perfect, but I'm not surprised that, this entire discussion so far, people prefer living in Norway. Um, and mostly for the society. The Norwegian society is what I'm hearing about most. That is better than the American society. A lot of people here are saying, oh, I go to America, there's so much hate and conflict. Norway is much more calm, peaceful, understanding. That's huge. That's huge. Oh. What else do we have here? Whenever Americans ask me what makes Norway better, I refer to them to Everything is Awesome song, the Lego song. Everything is awesome in Norway. Okay, that's just the answer. Do we have any more comments here? Yes, okay. Do people prefer living in Norway over America? Let's see. My wife is from Oslo and has been living in the US for 40 years. We have been lucky enough to have jobs where we were able to travel to Norway a couple of months each year to visit her family and friends. Oh, this is a fantastic comment. I'm really interested. This is a man whose wife is from Norway, and she and him have been living in the US for 40 years, but they also go and visit Norway as well. This is a perfect perspective. I never want to return after every visit. Oh my God. She and I argue every time we return to America. Oh my God. She likes the excitement and energy of New York City where we live. While I, on the other hand, am tired of the stupidity and toxic lack of empathy you find in the US. I say that as someone born in America. Wow. That's such an interesting comment. Very insightful. It's funny. It's funny that the Norwegian, his wife, likes America because it's a little different. It is more exciting to her and energetic. But the American is like saying Norway is incredible and so much like so much more empathy, less stupid. This is so interesting. Living in Norway must be such an experience, especially as an American visiting Norway. That must be such an experience because it sounds like such a different culture, much more peaceful. I find it hilarious when Americans claim that no country on earth comes close to the US. Yeah, that's so stupid, so ignorant. There is like that American patriotism, so overdone, where Americans are like, America is the best. We're the greatest in the world. And it's like, you don't know anything about the world. So how can you say that? This is especially true when most Americans don't have a passport and have never traveled outside the country. Yep. How do you claim that you have never when you have never been anywhere else? The arrogance is astounding. While America has many great things, the same can be said for other countries. Norway is a great place. Wow. Fascinating discussion, honestly. I just wanted to take a look at this. I saw this discussion and it was like people talking about, going to Norway, then going to the United States, and wanting to go back to Norway. And I was like, why? Do people prefer living in Norway? Why is that? And I think I got a lot of great answers here today. A lot of great answers. Not just about how lovely Norway is as a country and its beautiful geography, but more about how people just prefer the Norwegian society. People in this discussion just mostly said Norwegian people are better, are more understanding and calm and peaceful. And yeah, that's sounds like a pretty incredible place. This really made me think about America and comparing it to Norway, and I enjoyed it for that, honestly. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts over whether you would prefer living in Norway or America. That'd be fascinating to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.